Welcome my beautiful friends to the channel of Women's Strength Society. I'm Dragana and I'm coaching women how to become their strongest and most confident selves through strength training and body transformation. Strength training has given me a lot and has changed my entire life. I'm in love with strength training and feeling powerful and empowered through this sport. I also like the 90s and 2000s R&B, and I'm a huge chocolate lover. But today, let's get straight into the topic of body weight fluctuations. You might have had this issue before, or you are having it, or you had it this morning. I have had it in the past a lot of times, and it really frustrated me when I stepped on the scale in my dieting phase and I saw that my body weight went up quite a bit, like 2 kilo was pretty usual throughout my menstrual cycle and stuff like that. So if you have had any of these issues, if you ever stepped on the scale and you freaked out, this episode is the right thing for you, because we will go through the 5 reasons why your body weight fluctuates, so that you know what's actually going on, that it doesn't always mean that you have done something wrong in your diet, in your cutting phase, and that you can like stop freaking out. And I will give you also some tips what you can do about it. So first off, you need to realize that during a fat loss phase, your body weight will always fluctuate. It's not a straight line going down, like your body weight will not decrease linear. You will always have little bumps on the road, and these bumps are okay, they are totally fine as long as the trend is going into the right direction, because this is what we want to achieve going through a fat loss phase. But you need to get used to these little daily fluctuations that you will see on the scale. What I thought always in the past, like stepping on the scale and then seeing my body went going up like 1-2 kilo from one to the other day, I immediately thought that I was doing something wrong, that I have eaten too much, that I haven't trained enough, that my steps were too little the last day, stuff like that. So I always blamed myself, and this is really, really demotivating. And maybe it happened to you already, that you then thought, okay, I will give up. Like, why am I putting all these effort, all the work in? Why am I training? Why I'm so watching what I'm eating? Why I'm prioritizing self-care and stress management when nothing works, and when your body weight is just going up instead of going down? So let's go straight into the reasons. I have 5 reasons that I'm seeing a lot coaching women. I've seen them in my own journey, but pretty much every woman that is in my coaching is experiencing one of these reasons, mostly not all at the same time, but in or during this cutting phase, the fat loss process, you will experience one or the other more often. So the first one is your digestion. If your digestion is slow, you haven't been to the toilet, you maybe only have like very rarely bowel movements throughout the week, then this might be the cause why your weight went up. It's pretty simple. You are just holding like more food that needs to get out, but it's not getting out in your body, and this can mean that you are heavier the next day. So always check, how was your digestion? I would always recommend you to somehow track these kind of things so that you know what is going on. Be aware of your digestion and what's happening there. So if you're stepping on the scale and you know, like, hey, my digestion was quite poor this week, you know, okay, this is like the connection to your body weight. The second reason your body weight is fluctuating can be your sleep. Not only if you are a shift worker, but also if your sleep tends to be poor, it's maybe also too little, like you don't have enough quantity but also quality sleep. This can really increase your stress hormones, and therefore you will hold more water, which can then lead you to be heavier on the scale the next day. The third reason can be your carb intake. What I've seen a lot is like when you are, for me it's especially eating things like sushi. Like when I'm having sushi, I will always end up being heavier the next day. It's not only the carb intake, but also the salt intake that I'm having with all the soy sauce I'm eating when having sushi. So carbs bind to water, so you might be heavier after a meal that is higher in carbs than usual, or maybe you increased your carb intake, and then you will see immediately, or most of the time, also an increase on the scale. So don't freak out here. It doesn't mean that you have done something wrong. What helps me here is, especially during like a fat loss phase, to be pretty, to keep my meals pretty the same. I'm changing veggies or fruits regularly, but I try to keep like the same routine in my food intake, like my meals, so that I don't have that much fluctuations. If I'm keeping everything like the same for my like carb intake and stuff like that, and not trying to experiment a lot with different foods, but really keeping to the things that work for me, it's really easier to not have that much noise in my daily weigh-ins. So have a look at your carb intake. If that was maybe higher the last day, maybe you're also not tracking or not trying to hit your carb goal, but you're just focusing on your protein goal and your total calories, can also be the case. Then maybe you had like just a higher carb meal the last day, the last evening. So this might be the case why your weight went up. And then, very important for us women, your menstrual cycle. And this is very individual. I've seen like everything. For me personally, my weight is always going up around my ovulation, which is like half through my menstrual cycle, like day 14, something around that. So this is where I'm holding the most water, and this is where my body weight will always go up. I know that because I'm tracking not only my body weight daily, I'm also tracking my menstrual cycle. So this is how I know these things. It's just because I got to know my body better, and if you can track data that helps you like to put the puzzles together, like knowing which day of your cycle is, having a look at your body weight, having a look at all these other things that I just mentioned about digestion, carb intake, sleep, stuff like that, then you can actually combine the things, and then a lot of things make actual sense, and you don't have to freak out anymore about your body weight fluctuating. So have a look at your menstrual cycle. For me, it's, as I said, the ovulation, which is the event that causes my body weight to go up. For other women, it's right before the period, like the last days before the period, body weight goes up as we tend to hold more water. And then as they got the period, it's like gone, weight is dropping, and everyone is happy again. And for other women, it's like at both events, so you have it around your ovulation and around your period, which is like quite often going through a 4-week cycle, so you have 2 events where your body weight goes up. And last but not least, what can cause your body weight to go up, being heavier on the scale and your weight in, is when your caloric intake is too low for a pretty long time. Some women tend to be stressed out faster than others, so maybe this is the case for you. If your body is highly stressed, maybe also because your sleep is poor and stuff like that, so a combination of a lot of things, and your body is highly stressed, you will tend to hold more water, and this water retention will then lead to a higher body weight. In these cases, doing a refeed can be helpful, in some cases even a diet break, to really work against these metabolic adaptations that happen during your fat loss journey, during your fat loss phase. So doing a little refeed, giving your body a little bit more carbs for 1 day or 2 days might decrease your stress. And this is what often happens after a refeed, is that the body weight is dropping. And this is because you're not like magically losing body fat because you have eaten a lot more food. It's not how it works, but your body is like de-stressing and it's getting rid of all the water retention, and this is why some people experience really a big weight drop after a refeed. Cool, so these are the 5 reasons. Let me sum it up for you. The first one was the digestion. The second one was the sleep. Then we had the carb intake, which can vary and cause more water retention. Your menstrual cycle, which has a huge impact. And then also a too low calorie intake, which can stress your body a lot. Also, again, leading to a lot of water retention in your body. And now what I like to do, or what is my tip during a fat loss phase, is to weigh yourself every day, like really daily. First thing in the morning, after going to the toilet naked. You want to have the scale at the same place. You don't want to move it, because when you're stepping on a different scale, you will have a different weight for sure. So keep the scale at the same spot. And try to have it around the same time every day. We really want to cut out the noise, any noise that can cause some strange numbers. So you want to weigh yourself daily after going to the toilet, first thing in the morning, naked. And then second tip is to look at trends over time. So don't take like one weigh-in, which is like maybe a bit higher than the others, than the rest, and freak out. So we want to give all of this whole like number thing and data collection a bit more rationality and a little bit less emotion. And I know that it can be triggering if the weight is like fluctuating, you're putting so much work in and it seems like nothing is working, but really try to have a cool head and to check all of these 5 reasons. And what can also be a good thing is to just work with a coach, so that the coach has this look for you, like the big overview of all the data, and can give you really objectively a feedback on all the work you're doing, if we're on the right track, and really encourage you that you just need to keep going. We are going into the right direction. Don't freak out. We got this. This is what I'm telling always my clients. And one app that I like to use is the Happy Scale app. I use it for myself for 1.5 years, I think, because it really draws the line of the trend of the weight. And this is pretty cool to see, like also visually, not just seeing all the weigh-ins like daily, but really the trend over time, the line, and you will see if you are going into the right direction or not. I hope that helped. I hope you will now step on the scale and be a bit more relaxed and know exactly what to do, which data to track and have a look at. If you like this video, make sure to drop a comment, and if you want to support me, want to support Women's Strength Society, you want more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I hope to see you again. Bye bye.